I guess Lindsay here with Storybrooke Family Farm. If you're anything like me, when someone tells you to bloom where you're planted, it can actually be kind of confusing. For me, I love to garden, so blooming where you're planted could mean, as an annual crop, bloom where you're planted. It could mean as a perennial. It could be as a biennial, something that, takes 2 years to start blooming. It could be a lot of different things. And for me, certain phrases, honestly, they get kind of jumbled in my brain and they don't make a lot of sense. And sometimes they're kind of cliche and they kind of just irritate me when somebody just tells me to quit griping about this, that, or whatever and just bloom where I'm planted. And it never hits right. It never hits right at all. And this morning I was thinking about that, of, how there's a lot that I can do where I'm at right now, even though I don't know if I want to live here for the rest of my life. I'm one of those people that doesn't know what they're going to do for the rest of the year and stuff. Like, I've sort of shifted directions so many times throughout my life, and it's been a very windy path, that different things have diverted my path and changed things so much that it's very hard for me to ever. I get basically analysis paralysis when I try to think of, okay, 5 years from now I'm going to do this, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I can't do that because I know that things just, they shift, they change. Nothing is ever set in stone. That's kind of how the future works. Is there's trajectories and paths that people can go down, but you can always turn around. You can always step over to a different path, a different timeline, a different life for yourself. So it's very difficult for me to take that advice in stride. But I've been thinking about it a lot, and one of the things that came to me this morning while I was actually milking the goat was for me to just consider it thriving where I reside. And what does that really mean to me? And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, well, if I want to look at where I reside right now and just figure out what do I need to thrive here, with the hard times that are coming, the way that things are increasing in price, and, scarcities and hardships and, things like that. I mean, you'd be a fool to not notice what's going on and stuff. And I was thinking about, well, how do I do that? How do I focus on thriving where I reside? Ooh, got a tickle in my throat. It's the real feel right now is, I think, 4 degrees, 5 degrees, something of the sort like that. So I mean, it's pretty chilly out, but there we go. That's better. So one of the things that I've been thinking about of how we're going to thrive in this growing season, in this stage of our lives right now, with where we're at right this present moment, is one of the things that scares me a lot is not having enough animal feed, because our feed bill, because we only have 2 acres of land, anybody that's a small scale homesteader knows this, that your property tax value is a lot less than the bigger homesteads, but your feed bill is considerably more. So it kind of evens out. But so one of the things that we're planning on doing this year to thrive where we reside at is to actually seed the area where our new septic system is going to go with hay seed. So we're going to do orchard grass in there. We're going to plant, thanks to whoever suggested that we do this, we're going to, along the edges of it, plant a whole bunch of pumpkins. So that way the pumpkins and squash, the winter squashes, can then vine throughout that whole area. And those things alone are going to save us probably several $100s in animal feed, especially for the goats and the rabbits. So that's going to be a really big thing that we're going to do. Other things that I want to do is really try to utilize the woods that we have. Okay, so our property is 2 acres, and about 3/4 of an acre of it is what is open and has some amount of sunlight that you can somewhat grow stuff. Some of it might only be that you can only have enough light for like leafy greens and herbs and different things of that nature. Other places it's, full sun all the time, so we could do corn. So it's gonna look different here. It's gonna look different than all the other homesteads on YouTube and on Facebook and all them other places and stuff, because there's going to be a lot of little pocket gardens all over the place of where gets good sun, where's a good spot for this, where's a good spot for that. But so what we're going to do is utilize and learn about every area of the homestead, of what it could, try to stretch the limits of it, try to see the difficulties that I have in my mind where I'm like, I hate this hill right here is so steep, it's such a pain in the legs to walk up and down and do these things and stuff. I'm going to actually work on doing different things in here. That's part of why I tapped a bunch of the maple trees this year. Even though I was really stretched thin on time and energy and resources this year, I really wanted to do this so I could get better acquainted with our woodlot, get a better understanding of which trees should be cut down, which ones shouldn't, do basically better observations. Because in the wintertime here, like, I can look out and I can see our entire property. It's even a better view if I go all the way up there, which I am not hiking all the way up there. Not happening right now. But if I go all the way up to the back corner and look out, I can see every single thing that we have going on here. So the point of visual is amazing in terms of plotting and planning things out. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to do to literally thrive where I reside, is to figure out where I should plant, like try to cultivate mushrooms at, where I should try to add in different trees, different herbs, different things of little pockets that I can do little things. Because on any property, there's going to be space that is going to be kind of unused space. And I'm challenging you now that if you have a lot of unused space, or even just 10 square feet of unused space, do something productive in there. If you're waiting for your homestead, if you're dreaming of this up and all this stuff, figure out something that you can do there that's going to help you for when you get to your forever place. Figure out how you can thrive where you reside at currently, because honestly, I'm really grateful for the ways that I tried to thrive where we resided in town. That's where I learned how to bake bread, which started our small business. That's where I learned how to can a bunch of food. That's where I learned how to garden. That's how I learned about where I learned about companion planting. Literally everything that I'm doing on this property now is all things that I learned and gleaned from living in town, from being in a place of impermanence, a place of constant griping of everybody telling me to bloom where you're planted, and knowing in my heart there was something bigger and better for me and brighter for me and a happier reality for me. So it's just one of those things that when you sit down and you think about how I can thrive in this situation, it changes things. It's a way to easily change your perspective. Because for me, thinking about it that way, instead of just showing up where I'm at, it's a lot easier. Instead of blooming where I'm planted at, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier because, well, it just is. I guess the terminology in my brain, it works better. So anyways, that's it for today. I've got to hurry up and go try to check and collect any sap that the maple trees have created before they freeze over completely, because the next week or so we're going to be in really, really, really cold temperatures all over again. This has been like the longest winter in a very long time that we've had, and it's been brutal. Let's just say it that way. It's been the coldest one of my life, and it's been a doozy. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.